The knock came just after midnight, soft, hesitant, like the person behind it was afraid of being heard. Ethan paused halfway to bed, frowning. He wasn't expecting anyone. Not at this hour. Not out here, on the edge of a quiet rural town, where his nearest neighbor was half a mile away. Another knock, this one barely audible. He opened the door. She stood there, thin as a shadow, her clothes torn and damp from the evening rain. Her skin had an unnatural pallor, faintly luminescent under the porch light. Definitely not human. Wide eyes the color of molten silver darted up to meet his before she quickly looked down again. "I can cook," she whispered, her voice trembling. "I can clean. I can be quiet. Please, just let me stay." Ethan blinked, stunned. She looked barely older than a teenager, though with aliens it was always hard to tell. The galaxy had opened up 20 years ago, and while interspecies coexistence was becoming normal in the cities out here, not so much. Most folks still distrusted anything not born on Earth. "You're lost," he said carefully. She shook her head. "No. Hunted." The word chilled him. He glanced over her shoulder. The road was empty, stretching into darkness. "Who's hunting you?" "Doesn't matter. If I leave, they'll find me. If I stay, maybe not. I'll work. I promise. Just don't send me away." Her voice broke on the last word, and she flinched like she expected him to slam the door in her face. Ethan's first instinct was to tell her no. He didn't need trouble. He lived alone for a reason. But something in her trembling frame, in the way she hugged herself against the cold, stopped him. He opened the door wider. "Come in." She hesitated, then stepped over the threshold like someone expecting a trap. Her name was Lyra. She told him that much, and nothing else. He didn't press. For the first few days, she barely spoke. She stayed out of his way, as promised. She cooked simple meals, better than anything Ethan made for himself. She cleaned the cabin until it felt unfamiliar in its tidiness. She was like a ghost, moving silently from room to room, never asking for anything beyond food and a corner to sleep in by the fireplace. But sometimes, late at night, he'd catch her staring out the window toward the woods, her silver eyes reflecting the moonlight. "What are you looking for?" he asked one evening. "Not what?" she said softly. "Who?" She didn't elaborate. Winter deepened, and Ethan found himself growing used to her presence. He hadn't realized how crushing the silence of his life had been until Lyra filled it, not with words, but with small gestures. A mug of coffee waiting for him in the morning, a repaired button on his coat. The fire always lit when he returned from chopping wood. One night, as snow piled high outside, he found her curled on the floor, shivering violently despite the fire. "Lyra," her eyes snapped open, dazed and fever bright. "Don't tell them I'm here," she muttered, half delirious. "Who's them?" he demanded, kneeling beside her. She clutched at his sleeve. "Promise me." "I promise," he said without hesitation. Only then did she let herself collapse into unconsciousness. It took 3 days to nurse her back from whatever alien illness had taken hold. During that time, Ethan learned more than he expected. Her people were refugees, scattered after their world was seized by a powerful syndicate. She had been brought to Earth as property, sold to a wealthy buyer in the city. She escaped. Now they wanted her back, not because she was valuable, but because they couldn't allow disobedience to go unpunished. "You saved me," she said quietly when she could finally sit up. He shrugged awkwardly. "You'd have done the same." She gave him a faint, almost disbelieving smile. "No. Where I'm from, no one helps her free." "Well, you're not there anymore," he said. Spring came slowly to the hills, and with it, an ease between them. Lyra started laughing, soft at first, then bright and musical. She helped him plant a garden. She hummed alien tunes as she worked, and sometimes, when she thought he wasn't listening, she sang. One evening, as the sun set in streaks of orange and gold, she turned to him. "Why did you let me stay that night?" Ethan thought about it. He could have said pity. He could have said curiosity. But the truth was simpler. "Because you knocked," he said. She laughed at that, but her eyes shone. "The hunters came in midsummer. Sleek black skimmers landed in the field, and armed figures fanned out toward the cabin. Lyra froze when she saw them. "They found me," she whispered, terror plain on her face. Ethan didn't hesitate. He grabbed his old shotgun from the wall. "Go out the back. Take the trail to the river. I'll buy you time." "No," she cried, gripping his arm. "They'll kill you." "Maybe," he said, meeting her gaze. "But I'd rather die standing than let them take you." For a moment, she just stared at him, as if trying to memorize his face. Then she kissed his cheek, quick, desperate, and ran. The fight was brutal and short. Ethan took down 2 before they overpowered him. They dragged him outside, demanding to know where she went. He spat blood in their leader's face and laughed. A bright light split the sky. A ship descended, massive, gleaming, unmistakably alien. It fired once, obliterating the hunter's skimmer. Lyra emerged from the tree-line, flanked by others of her kind. Reinforcements. She had gone for help, not fled. She ran to Ethan, kneeling beside him. "You kept your promise," she whispered, tears streaking her face. "Always," he rasped. Months later, when the fields were green again, Ethan stood on the porch of a new, larger home. Lyra stood beside him, her hand in his. "I can cook," she said with a teasing smile. "I know. I can clean. Uh-huh. I can be quiet." He laughed, pulling her close. "Don't you dare." And somehow, without him even realizing when, his life was no longer empty. It was hers.